Hello, hello, hello. We are here, gathered together on this Thursday, February 2nd, 2023, to discuss the final that we have finally reached in the Challenge 38 Ride or Dies. It's been a long season. It's been a lot of roller coaster moments, but we're finally here, guys.
Yeah, but it's only part one, so
I know, but it's here. It's here.
Let's not be too jazzed.
We're still here.
There's a lot of good stuff to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there is. No.
So I think we should waste no time and let's just start this sucker off.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right. So, I am John Dunphy. I am joined, as always, by my ride or dies, Mr. Kyle Petty and Miss Gina Morgino. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're fantastic.
It's good. I'm glad to hear it. And hello to you, Matt. Yeah. I see you all with the sleek futuristic countdown. Good evening, pals. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
We really thought we did a good job with nailing like all the colors, the themes from the season itself, and like everything that we tried to do here with our graphics and backgrounds and countdowns. And
hell yeah, we crushed it.
Very, very proud, very proud. But anyway, the three of us crazy fools over here, we make up Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast.
Not presumptuous.
Not at all. That's right. We know it.
Yeah.
If you want to find us on the socials, you can do so at Strat Chat Pod. We're on all the big platforms. Twitter, Instagram. You use those. You can find us
everywhere you are.
That's true. That's right.
Everywhere
And
you want to be.
we also have a lovely website, which you can find at StratChatPod.com. All right, rough start. I'm too excited. I'm overexcited. I'm going to say it one more time.
It's off to a
www.stratchatpod.com. That's the website. Okay. All right, but anyway, let's do this. All right. Quick refresher, because I totally forgot as the final got started. I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? Fessy and Mariah were the last ones eliminated before this final got started. So, it's too bad. What's crazy about this actually is that this is Fessy's fourth season, and it's the first time that he's actually been eliminated from the game because he made two finals. He was sent home once for bad behavior. And so now, first time, this still leaves his elimination record at 5-1. So, Fessy's still a force in the game, but he's out of this one. So this left Banani, Devin and Tori, Anissa and Jordan, and Olivia and Horacio as our finalists. This is Anissa's her first final in 13 years, they mentioned. So, a lot of celebrating at the house, toasting the next day. Everybody's working out. We're relaxing, right? We're relaxing at the house. People are working out. They're swimming, right? Bananas is playing the guitar. Everybody is having a great time. And TJ rolls up on his motorcycle. And he says, it's time to go literally right now. Literally, just go get dressed. Enough. Let's do this. What's this here? Good riddance to the pauper Fessy, says Matt Blevins. Woo! All right.
I'm going to have to send an email to Google to have this comment removed.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
We do love Fessy.
Now, I got to tell you, so TJ tells them here it's a 100-hour final. It's going to be the longest, craziest, hardest final. It's really going to test their friendship. And I actually really liked how this started off because the pairs all had to drive themselves to the first stop. And it kind of gave me like a little bit of like Amazing Race vibes. Like Nani's using a map. Teams are in their cars sort of strategizing. I just found that a little fun. Yeah.
That's
so at the...
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
So that brings us, once they all arrive in their cars, that get to the first stop. And this was probably the most boring part of the final that we saw so far, because TJ told us They had to, each pair would have to ride 100 kilometers on a stationary bike. Once they did that, they'd get a code that allowed them to open a trunk, and they could now set up their camp. There was no benefit to finishing first in this event, other than you just got to stop and set up your tent and go to sleep, which helps. But there was no sort of like, you come in first, you get an advantage, or you come in last,
There's no
you have
game
to start
advantage
later.
other than extra sleeps. Yeah.
So, maybe with the 100-hour final, they're trying to like start it off slow, but this felt like kind of a weak way to start things off to me.
And it's like, I get that it's like exerting to that, like it's like hard for them. It's not fun to watch. I don't care about watching somebody ride a stationary bike.
Exactly. I am not minimizing the fact that they had to do this 100 kilometers. I most certainly could not.
Right, it's difficult.
Not that
for
either of them
sure.
did 100. At least they tried to split it. I wouldn't come close to 50. Okay, so like I'm not poo-pooing what they did. I just don't need to see so much.
It's just boring to watch. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And they tried to, have a couple of fun moments in there. We got a little shirtless montage, right? Did you guys enjoy this one? This okay.
I mean, there was no body here that I was upset to see.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
That was nice, but again, I mean, that's not really why I'm gathered here at the challenge. Okay, if I want that, I'll go watch Love Island. Okay,
sure.
I really want to see people play, and this is lame. This is basically Planet Fitness.
Yeah, that clip was really for Kyle. I knew he'd enjoy that. It was longer in the episode, but I felt like I needed to shorten it here. But I thought that was a fun moment anyway. And then we got a little bit of Banani right off the bat, very early in this final, getting into an argument. What did you think of like Banana's behavior? Would you have been as bothered by it as Nani?
Oh yeah.
The popping the wheelies, flicking her with the shirt, all that. Okay.
Yeah.
He was acting like a teenager. I was like, dude, enough. We're in the middle of something. Like,
definitely a bit juvenile. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. If I didn't already know what the relationship was between Bananas and Nani, I would have found his behavior like really irritating and almost borderline deplorable throughout the entire season. Like, I found him to be a real irritant, as much as I love him, but like, because we know him, we know what he's doing, we know what this is about. But like, if I was Nani, I'd be like, yo, I'm trying to win, bro. I know this is like less important to you because you've won so many times, but like, yo, what the fuck, bro?
Right.
You're my fucking partner. Like, stop with the shenanigans,
Right. It's just like it's so funny with Bananas, because like in this moment he's just like fooling around. Nani's getting annoyed, and then we see him in other times during this final as the episode goes on, where he's like taking it super seriously, and he's like really motivating Nani, and they're getting along great. Like, it's just so funny to watch how things change, like just at random. It seems like whenever Bananas
so
just feels like having fun. But all our teams, they finished their bikes. And everyone got some sleep. TJ arrives the next morning, this time on a quad. Shows up first on a motorcycle, now a quad. Love all of his different vehicles, that he uses. At this point, TJ tells everybody they're 19 hours into this 100-hour final, which almost felt like, wow, we're already 19 in.
I know.
Right. So all we've done is ride bikes and sleep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But he tells them that on the next part of this final, there's going to be a race here. And there's going to be a number of checkpoints along the way. And this really was more of a feel of like that mini final we saw earlier in the season. And this is where things started to get rough for some people. Firstly, Anissa and Jordan. What do you guys have to say about this? Jordan goes off the trail. Anissa doesn't want to. Jordan obviously looking to make up some time, keep them in the race. Anissa rolls her ankle. Thoughts?
Well, listen, I don't mean any disrespect, but at what point, do we hang up the shoes here? Do we say that maybe this is not for us? Because if we can't run on a little grass and a couple of sticks, then maybe we shouldn't be in the challenge anymore, right? Like we can't even do that without our ankle being rolled. You are physically incapable of really getting this done. Okay.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more apparent, and it's only getting worse each season. There was a lot of talk on Twitter about how Aneesa should retire, and
because this wasn't the first time that she left on an injury like this.
No, she's had several injuries throughout the years.
She's always busted up. She's always whatever. I'm not saying she does not deserve some respect on her name. She is a legend in her own right, but I think it's over. I think she should just focus on the Challenge podcast. I'm not even in a rude way. It's like your experience in it gives you great insight to comment on what is going on. Like that should just be where we put our eggs at this point.
And it's funny because like I feel the same way as you, Kyle. I totally agree. I saw all the stuff on Twitter too, and I do feel bad because Aneesa really is like, a part of the fabric of this game. Like she's been doing this for so long. Like she's really put in a lot of work, like over the seasons that we've seen her over the course of her career on the Challenge. And I just feel like you said, I think maybe this is the time, right? Like to hang it up. She still can run the official Challenge podcast. I would love for her to continue to do that for as long as she wants. I wouldn't even mind seeing her hosting like a reunion at some point. You know what I mean? Like there's still things she can do to stay involved in the Challenge.
In the world.
But, I see. And it sucks because you don't want to sound like a jerk because, like I said, I do love Aneesa. But at the end of the day, if every season she's going to have to go home to injury or she's just going to be sort of like a layup like that, like, wouldn't you rather give somebody else that spot? You know what I mean? That's because now what is Jordan going to have to just walk through this whole final? You know what I mean? While everybody, he doesn't even have a chance, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, and I know I also don't want to like cut her Challenge dreams short. You know what I mean? Like if you want to keep playing the Challenge, like play the Challenge. Like there's just the storyline that they are forcing all the time is like Aneesa winning her, her first game. Aneesa finally winning. What if you just play to play? Like why do we have to always talk about what the end game is? Like you don't have to win to enjoy playing the game. You know, like you don't necessarily have to be stepping out of this simply because you're not going to win a final. It doesn't mean that you can't agitate some things along the way. If you enjoy playing, like Aneesa sends many a lady home. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like you see Aneesa in the stands, you can almost bet you're going home. It's just a final she can't do. So like, I'm actually going to now take back some of what I said. She doesn't have to like stop playing. If you want to keep playing, go ahead. Like, let's just stop making the storyline about Aneesa finishing because that is what's making it look like she's not a contender, because she can't do that. It doesn't mean that she can't do things. She just can't finish final. Like
there's lots of people. I think there's only 2 champs in all these finalists. Nani's never won. Tori's never won. At
and that's point. Okay. If you want to play the Challenge, play. But like, let's just stop making it about Aneesa finally winning. Yeah. Like,
I also would. I also wouldn't hate seeing her as a regular on like All Stars. You know what I mean?
Right. I wouldn't mind seeing her regular all the time.
That's I was seeing a lot of that like on Twitter too, of people being like, just have her be an All Stars person. Like that is where she lives. That is where she goes. Don't keep putting her on the mainstream seasons. Just put her on All Stars.
Right.
Yeah. Now
I either option, but
yeah. I really was feeling for Jordan here, the frustration, because especially for someone like him, like we did see him, right, parachute out of a plane and crash land. And I think he fractured his leg and he won that final. So I can see why he would be so frustrated by like, all right, you rolled your ankle. Come on, let's go. Like, like,
is there no version of you that can at least just like run a little bit, like nothing?
Yeah, a light jog.
This is all we got.
Yeah, a light jog, something. I mean, Jordan finished a final and won a final on a broken leg. Give me a little jog on your ankle,
just show me a little something.
Yeah, that's just kind of how I felt about that. But you know what else was interesting to me? Last point on this is that throughout this final now, Jordan was trying to motivate Aneesa, and I admit at times was could be seen as being pretty harsh and hard on her, especially if she's in pain. But what's funny to me is that every time he tried to motivate her in this final, she came back saying, that's not working. That's not helping. Stop doing that. But what's funny is that we saw them not that long ago win an elimination. And the whole time, Jordan was pretty much treating her the same. And Aneesa was like, that's what pushed me through. The tough love. That's what motivated me to keep going. So I just thought it was interesting to see, that difference there. But it is a different situation. They're running a final. She's in pain.
It's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually worth unpacking since you brought it up. Like, this is something that comes with a little bit of trauma for Aneesa, right? Like she can find some motivation in the way that he was speaking to her during an elimination, because she knows that she can send people home. Like she knows, like, I got a couple of minutes in the tank that I can like blast you out of the water. And that's what Aneesa does, but a final, something we were talking
She
about.
also wasn't battling an injury then.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So it's two. She's going into a final with all of her previous years of like insecurity and things. I feel like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And now you have a partner who's like giving you that tough love. That's not the kind of love she needs there, because she already doesn't feel good about herself in there. The kind of motivation that Jordan provides, I feel like, works when you already feel good. It's like, you're right. Let me do this. And it's like, but if I don't feel like I can, that kind of motivation does not work. No, that's for me anyway.
Yeah. No, very interesting. Very interesting. Only wanted to bring it up because of that like tough love thing. It's like, it's like, does it work sometimes? It doesn't work other times, But okay, let's talk about this first checkpoint. At this first checkpoint, TJ tells us that the pairs will have to throw 10 bolas onto their station. Now, for every 2 bolas they land on their station, they can now sabotage one of their opponents with an absolutely vile, disgusting smoothie. I think Devin at one point when he was chugging one was like, I think I just had a claw in my mouth, because they were talking about like fish and like,
bad,
really gross.
No,
and that led to a lot of puking. So and the shirtless montage was for Kyle, but the puking montage here is for Gina. So
Gina.
Here we go.
She loves it. She loves vomit.
Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I actually considered it. I did consider it, but I started.
I'm so disappointed.
Well, here's what happened. I started to I actually recorded it, and then I started to edit it down a little bit, and watching it over and over again started to make me feel like I was going to puke. So I said, all right, we're not doing this anymore.
No, we don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Hold on, let me pick my popped balloon off the floor.
Boo! Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how badly you wanted to see everyone puke.
You're the one that inflated it. Like, I didn't have a balloon before you started talking about it.
I didn't have a balloon.
No, I just didn't realize how badly you wanted to see the puke. That's all. Next time, I'll make sure I'll put it in there for part 2. Okay.
No, thank you, please.
No,
thank you, please.
Can we do a quick aside? There was a channel, I don't remember what it was called. I want to say like GSTV or something like that. It was like a weird channel, somewhere high up in the numbers. They had a show. It was called Hurl. Do you know this show?
It sounds familiar, actually.
Hurl. And they would make them eat these most ridiculous things and then put them through these like things that would make an ordinary person puke, like put them in like a spinny thing or like whatever like that. And it's like whoever did not throw up like would win money.
And people watch this on purpose? Kyle!
Not only did I watch it, I DVR'd it. Okay, because I didn't want to miss an episode. And like, so if everyone threw up, there was like a rating system of like how strong the hurl was. And it's like, oh well, you only had like a 3 hurl. So like,
that is the worst TV show that's ever been made. What do you mean you watch that for fun?
I did.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to find it. I said GSTV. It was not that. GSTV is gas station TV. You can find that at Speedway and gas stations like that. I think it was actually G4. Okay, G4. Okay. Do the Googles, do the Wikipedias. We're gonna find it. It's called
thank you.
Hurl. Okay?
I'm all set.
And you would literally you would see people like in a ride, like throwing up all over themselves. I'm like, eliminated.
I'm good. I'm all set.
And then creamy mac and cheese, like eat like wild thing. Like
all right. Oh,
I hate it. Oh, I hate it.
I'm starting to feel a little queasy. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't like it at all.
I loved it. It's a great show.
Oh God.
It'd be great for a midnight stream. We'll find it.
More to come. I think I'm busy that night. I can't.
You tried it.
Jeez.
Sorry.
All right. So anyway, the pairs get to this checkpoint, the bolas checkpoint. Aneesa and Jordan a little bit further behind. But they all get there, and they're feeling things out. And then on her very first throw, Miss Olivia, the troubles started for her, and she was unfortunately cut on her hand. And this was just the beginning for Olivia. This was her walking away.
Cut on her hand is the understatement of the night. Like, I was reading like an interview with her. She ripped a nerve out of her finger.
Yeah, she was saying, she was like, I literally ripped part of my finger out.
Yeah. No, she like in an interview, she was like, I saw like a little white nerve just like hanging out of my finger. Like it was a bad rip. It was bad.
Oh my God, that'd be so scary. I think I would just start crying and just pass out.
And like it's wild when you think of how much pain she probably was in to be like, oh, it's fine, I can keep it. Like it's no, I would be down for the count then.
Fucking queen, like honestly.
I don't know how she kept going.
I wouldn't even have looked back. I would just started walking away. But like, where are you going? Away, far.
Right.
Away, far.
Right. She literally said, she was like, I really don't care. Just cut it off if you have to. Like, I'm not quitting. Like, she was like, at one point they were still bandaging her finger and she's chugging one of those smoothies as one of the medics is like working on her hand. I'm like, she is just such a badass.
Horacio's coming over to check on her and she's like, why are you over here? Keep going. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I didn't watch the episode until today, and I was like actively trying not to see any spoilers for the episode or whatever, but I did see a lot of people talking about Olivia, so I knew something bad happened to Olivia. So when we got here, I thought this was it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's bad, but it's not as bad as everybody was acting like it was. So like I feel a little bit better about it. And then she kept going, and I was like, well, I was under the impression that the thing that happened got her out of the game. So is this going to be a problem for her later, or did something else happen? And I was just panicking the entire rest of the episode.
That's a fun way to watch.
What am I missing?
That's a fun way.
It was not fun at all.
To know a little things, but not everything. I
was so sure this was what everyone was talking about because I was like, there's no way something else happens.
Right.
You know?
Can we go back for a second?
Of course.
Oh shoot, it's gone.
Oh no.
Wait. It was Olivia and the finger thing and the hurling. Oh no.
Was it about the tweet that I sent earlier? Or is that
I don't know. What did you say?
Later?
What did you say? I had a point.
About production shenanigans. Or are we gonna save that for later?
Oh, no. This is where it should be. Yes. So there was a lot of discourse on Twitter and all social media, basically around
No, I was just gonna mention that Devin and Tori had finished throwing their bolas and started having these drinks. So, but that's literally where we're at. So it's a good thing that we're doing it now because that's exactly we're at the exact right spot.
I thought we were moving past it because we got to drinks and moved on to her injury. So I really wanted to talk more about these drinks, because there was a lot of discourse around whether or not Tori should have been drinking these drinks. Being a vegan, and there was apparently fish in them. Originally, I thought this was very fair. I was like, okay, she's a vegan. She should not have to do this. Then I was reading some more tweets, and I was reminded that Nehemiah was forced to do this, even though he is a vegan as well.
That's right.
And that was on All Stars. So I have massive issues with this. Like really, really not cool. Like I didn't totally, I think in the group chat, Gina had shared it. I get the wrong person. I'm sorry. But I think Gina had shared that tweet basically about how, Olivia had hurt herself and she still had to do the slingshot thing. And it's like, okay, well, sorry, tough nookies, right? I mean, you're injured. You still have to try. Like, I do believe that being vegan is one of those, those personal beliefs that should be respected. So the game should, show some respect to that. But if we made Nehemiah do it, which I did not remember, then why are we not making Tori do it?
Right. It's also from my understanding too, the food things are never like, oh, if you want to sit it out, you can, because that was the whole thing with Fessy, is he could not move forward because he couldn't complete the food part of the challenge. So why is it
Casey was on the ground. Casey's on the ground stuffing her face with all this food, and Fessy's
so why
I'm
is
not
it okay
doing
for Tori to sit it out?
Right. And see, I can argue the Fessy thing because it's not like you have some kind of personal belief or some religious thing that is preventing you from doing the eating thing, so you should not really be exempt. But I do believe that you are vegan, that you should get to step out of it if you're putting meat in it. This is somebody's
from what I was reading too, moving forward, anything that involves food is now going to be vegan friendly from here on out, so that like this isn't even a topic anymore.
Right.
It should have been already. I think that should have already been something. Like like anytime you plan some kind of luncheon or whatever, you always have to have these types of sandwiches. You got to have vegetarian sandwiches. You got to have vegan options. Like I'm surprised that a show like this wouldn't have already done that. Like everything is just vegan friendly.
Right. And is that
if you have vegan competitors?
Do you think that's
like?
Go ahead.
It's not like this. It's not like this is the first time. Like Tori just became a vegan, and she's the first person ever to compete on here as a vegan. Like we've already said, this happened already with Nehemiah. He was forced to do it, and isn't the main challenge show supposed to be a level above the All Stars? We're forcing people to eat stuff at All Stars, but not in the main show. Like I don't know.
Right. It's really it's not right, and I think that that's really something that should be addressed. That really does feel like another form of production interference / manipulation, because we already know, because Devin is not new to us. These eating things, even though he might puke and puke and puke, we already know Devin is a beast at these food things. So it's like when you put Devin and Tori together and you already know that she's a vegan, so she's not going to do it. We can use that as the reason why she's exempt from this thing and make Devin do all of it. Like it just feels like you're just kind of pushing them along. So even if this whole thing ends in a win from Devin and Tori, like I'm sorry, I'm not about it. Like, and I think that was a waste of 18 episodes. Like, fuck off. Like that's whack. I'm sorry. Like I don't love that at all. You're making me really like lose a lot of interest in this whole thing because it's not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I understand in all these reality TV games and these things, like there is going to be some manipulation.
Yeah, there's a touch of shenanigans everywhere.
And I would say probably more than a touch, but I'm here for most of it. This is like so blatant. And it's like, what do you think we are? We're just sitting here like, just like a bunch of idiots. Like, I mean, we are, but like, we ain't that dumb.
I hear you.
Yeah. I say shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I don't like how this all played out at all.
No,
I'm sure we'll talk about it more as we move along. Now, this was really, we just kind of said that we didn't like how this first checkpoint with the drinks ended with Tori not having to do it, but this really did start off a dominant stretch here for Tori and Devin because they
did.
Yeah, they took this first checkpoint.
Just gas on the fire.
I know. They took this first checkpoint and they make it to the next checkpoint first. Nobody's in sight. They're the first ones there. And for this one, TJ says that they'll have to transfer 16 tires, one at a time. They can each carry one at a time. So really they're moving two at a time, but they would have to actually take these tires a kilometer away down the road. Once they transferred all 16 tires going back and forth, they would then have to order these tires around a pole in the order of elimination. So first eliminated all the way to the most recent eliminated at the top. Now, this was pretty, there wasn't really much that happened. Did you guys have any comments on this? I feel like it was sort of, everybody sort of got to the checkpoint and was working on it, but Devin and Tori were pretty far ahead. So
my only comment that doesn't even really matter to anything, it just made me laugh, is that this season has been so long that even Tori was like, who are half of these people? I don't remember these people competing. Who are Kim and Colleen? What is happening? And I was like, same. Me too.
There also was a funny comment that I think it was from Devin also. It was like, oh, miss, I have a notebook. I have a notebook.
yes, because
that was funny too.
Yeah, he wasn't sure about certain things, and she was like, Devin, I wrote this in my notebook.
Yeah, like that. They are funny together. I'll give them that. No.
Oh man, no, very funny. But
yeah.
Do we know also how long this actual, in real time they were playing this season? Because I know we've been watching it for 17 years, but how long was it from their first elimination to now? Do we know?
The filming?
18 years.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Because the competitions like this, like in Big Brother, always blow my mind because it's like we've seen them play for like 3 months, and it's like I don't know how you memorize the order of the days and who went home when or whatever. So like I want to say like this is a wild competition that I don't understand how they play, but for all I know, they were playing this game for like a couple of weeks. You know, I don't know what the actual timeline was here.
Let's see if we can look it up really quick.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have said that out loud.
Because
move
like,
on, and I'll get back to you if I
impressive.
find it. How about that?
I think it's impressive either
Sure,
way. I'm
sure.
just curious.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
now I'm curious too. So like, I'm gonna look it up, but yeah, you keep going.
Yes.
See if we can find it.
So, as I was saying, Devin and Tori get to the checkpoint first. They complete it first, so they move on. And basically, at this point, we were kind of like Devin and Tori in the lead. Banani was coming in second. Anissa and Jordan at this point were about in third place, working on things. And then Olivia and Horacio were actually the last ones to this checkpoint, and it was because they got sabotaged with so many of those drinks. And so that really took them a lot of time to get through.
I get it. They're the rookies. This is a game. I was like, give her a break. Do you see what she's been through? Calm down.
Yeah.
Stop sabotaging Olivia. Give her a break.
Right.
I do hear that. I totally hear that. But I gotta say, like, if I was playing this game, I would have done this.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it's tricky because
I didn't like it, but I get it.
Yeah. No, yeah,
I'd like to ask.
It's like,
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question about some of the sabotaging that was going on, right? Because we did hear from Devin that he actually had made a deal with Banani that they would not sabotage each other. Were you surprised by that at all, knowing the way that Devin and I mean, I get on Devin's part, I guess, that you want to, feel confident that Bananas isn't going to sabotage you. Maybe that gives you a little pass there, but like, I'm surprised that Devin wouldn't want to have the option to.
I mean, we did see them kind
Bananas.
of like running back and forth and just like handing the same jugs back and forth to each other. And he was like, are we going to do this all day? Or are we just going to we'll call a truce right here? You know?
Right. And I think, Devin is very self-serving. Like he does understand what this game is. And it's like, you know what? I will make this deal with you because it's very, very possible that Bananas and Nani can win something. So to have that security moving forward is better than having the ability to stick it to them later.
Yeah.
I think that's how Devin kind of plays this game. And I do think that's smart.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming down the pike.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I also want to interject. I do have an answer. The challenge was filmed from May to July of 2022.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Parts of 3 months.
The challenge fandom says. Okay. So that is a long time. And
that's longer than I would have thought.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Me too. I can imagine that you might forget some people in the beginning. Yeah. Because Johnny and Raven feel like challenge 37.
Yeah, I was seeing like people's pictures come up when Tori was like, who else was here? And I was like, oh my God, that was this season?
Yeah. Yep. Kayla and Sam too. That feels like multiple seasons ago that they were eliminated.
God. I always want Kayla to feel like multiple seasons ago.
I know.
Even like Kim and Colleen, I was like, that was years ago.
I know. Oh, Kim and Colleen.
And I loved them.
Kim and Colleen, Justice 4.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. I loved Kim and Colleen. So
they're great.
Yeah. So Devin and Tori way out in front, killing it. They get to the next checkpoint, which is the dreaded slingshot checkpoint.
Here we are.
I was not surprised at all to see Devin and Tori just whip through this because Devin was great at this when we saw them do it earlier in the season. He didn't actually do it. He was just helping direct people. So, but I wasn't surprised to see him come up and just kill it. They finished immediately. But let me lay out the rules. I forgot. So at this slingshot checkpoint, each partner in the pair would have to hit one target. So together they'd have to knock out 2 targets using a slingshot, and they would have golf balls that they would fire from this slingshot. Now, if you were the first team to complete this checkpoint, you would have the ability to sabotage one of your opponents. So Devin and Tori, they finish a checkpoint immediately. Let's sabotage Olivia and Horacio. Man, I'm already getting like,
I know,
just thinking about it. Now, so this means that Olivia and Horacio will have to hit 4 targets, 2 each, we are told. All right. Now, At this point, Bonatti arrives second to the checkpoint, and then Olivia and Horacio come back. Horacio, he hit his targets pretty quick, actually. He got this done pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming the hand that Olivia injured on that first checkpoint is her dominant hand, because that's what she was then, right? That's what she was throwing with.
Watching her trying to like pull the slingshot with her finger wrapped, I could feel it, you know?
Yeah.
Like
And
I
knowing,
can only imagine.
right. And knowing, like you said, Gina, that this wasn't just like a little cut, like a paper cut or something. She was actually saying that like a chunk of her finger was ripped out. How are you supposed to now pull this back with that much force?
And it was like, it immediately started bleeding again. And from what I was reading too, like she had reopened it on the tire part of the final too. So like it was just constantly getting reopened.
Oh God.
And she still
didn't
attempted to use that hand.
It didn't slow her down at all.
No.
I was like, what is this woman made out of?
Yeah. You could see the pain she was in. You could just hear it. And like, she just refused to quit at all.
Insane.
But yeah, but I really do think, I mean, just think about how different this final could have been if Horacio could have just taken all 4 of those shots.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no other checkpoint left where you have to do that kind of specific thing, you know? Like, even if these checkpoints were in a different order, this whole final could have been different. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, but on one of her attempts, Olivia pulls the slingshot back. The ball, unfortunately, flings back and hits her literally square between the eyes, it looked like, on her forehead. And it was rough. I felt so bad for her. Look at this, like, she is such a beast.
I could not believe how much blood was pouring out of her face.
Even look in this picture, right? If you look down her hand, right? If you see how red that blood is, that's a black shirt she is wearing, you know? And then the medic comes over, like, look at her. And she, at this point, is still going, at this point, she's going, give me a Band-Aid. Give me a Band-Aid. I'm fine. I can do it. Like, this, she just doesn't quit. It's absolutely unbelievable.
She broke literally 5 bones in between her nose and her skull, 5 bones. And she goes, put a Band-Aid on me. I could keep going.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, there was a lot of Twitter discourse about like a number of things. We've already spoken about some of them, but this was another big one where people were like claiming negligence on production's part, because they were like, you know, we see people running around with like helmets in this game all the time. How was there no protective face covering or eye covering or anything? Because I'm sorry, like you look at that wound, if that thing was millimeters to either side, she was losing an eye. Like it hit her
absolutely.
So she got, as bad as her wounds were, she got incredibly lucky.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's wild to me that, like, yeah, it's a freak accident, but how are we not at least trying to protect them more?
Right. I 100% agree.
I do agree, but in their defense, like I also, like, prior to this, is there any world that you would have expected this from a slingshot? I most certainly did not. Like, I was very surprised. Like, I mean, also, I'm not in the position to be creating a game and putting this on TV, and like, I'm not responsible for all these things. So, like, maybe I wouldn't be thinking of these things, you know, because that's not my job. You know, but like, God, I mean, there was, as a viewer who has watched this show for years, there's no version of me that ever imagined that you would break 5 bones in your face over shooting a slingshot. Like, I just, you know,
I have seen videos.
Things.
Right. I have seen videos online on YouTube of people like pulling slingshots back and it fires back at them, like stuff like that. I feel like I've seen that in a competition show before.
The problem was, if you can see it on like the beginning of her like pulling that round, it like the ball falls just a little bit lower than it normally would be. So it was like blocked when it shot forward. So when it came back, it full force just like shot back out of the slingshot because it was just too low to get the momentum to go past it.
Yeah. You know what they should have been wearing is like a hockey helmet. Because hockey, every helmet, it totally protects your head, but every single helmet is required to have a clear visor also that covers down to like below your nose.
Goggles or something, like anything.
Yeah.
She was so close to that being way more disastrous than it was.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you though, in competitions like this going forward, I will not be surprised. I'm expecting to see actually that anything like this with a slingshot, they're going to have a visor or some kind of protective
I
face
don't know
thing.
that we'd ever even see anything with a
We
slingshot
might
anymore.
not. We might not, but I do think that it's the type of thing you could, it is a good competition, like shooting out targets with a slingshot. That's fun to watch. Like,
it is.
But I also think that even the bolus competition, I think that if they do anything with a bolus or anything that has a carabiner attached that you have to throw, they're going to put tape around that carabiner or some kind of like rubber substance so that it can't, or you have to wear gloves. Exactly. Like those things will be done differently forever from now on, I think, on this show, those types of things. But I felt so bad, especially Olivia going on and on how she doesn't want to quit, how she's such a fighter. But like what was like the most like impressive and almost got me the most like emotional watching it was not only seeing how badly she wanted to fight and continue for herself, but like in that moment, you just broke 5 bones in your face. There is blood pouring from your face. And you're actually saying like, I don't want to let Horacio down. I don't want to let Horacio down. And
the first thing she said was, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And he even said, he was like, what? Don't be sorry. Are you kidding? Like, he's like, there with his arm around her, getting the medics over. Like, this whole thing was just heartbreaking to watch. And then Horacio walking away from the ambulance.
To watch.
Yeah. And that producer coming over and hugging him and telling him he can't continue, like
she's literally lying in a stretcher in an ambulance about to be taken away. And she's like, just finish the final. Like you could do it. No concern for her injuries or anything. Like no, Horacio, you could do it. Just finish the final. Like you can keep going, like keep fighting for it. It's like, it was just so, you could tell how badly she wanted it and how badly he wanted it too. Like it's incredible how fierce of a competitor she is.
Yeah.
I love her. Like she was already, at the top of my list, but like she is firmly cemented as my favorite rookie of the season.
This was incredible.
Men or women, Olivia is my favorite rookie of the season. And I feel like she's
absolutely,
if not my favorite female competitor of the whole season, she might be very close, top 2, 3. I got to tell you, she really showed so much all throughout the season, and especially in this final, even though she couldn't finish it.
Especially like, not for nothing, I'm gonna throw a little shade real quick. We watched the Challenge USA, where like 90% of the final was people being like, you know what? I'm out.
Bye.
I don't want to be here no more. Yeah. Sudoku, no.
It's
cold outside. I have to eat an onion. No, I'm going home. I have to dig a hole. I'm just gonna go to bed. It's fine. And Olivia is literally Olivia is profusely bleeding out of her head. It looked like her face got ripped in half. And she's like, I'm not going. Put a Band-Aid on me. I'm gonna keep playing.
Yeah.
Begging to continue.
Please.
But okay. Honestly, that's pretty much where we left off, right?
Yeah.
Am I forgetting anything? Yeah. You guys have any other thoughts?
No.
Okay. I do actually, I just really briefly, because we were showing a lot of, Matt says, go off, Gina. There you go. We've been showing a lot of Olivia with her battle scars, the warrior that she is. But let's not forget how stunningly beautiful this woman is when she's not covered in blood. I mean, even when she is covered in blood.
When she is covered in blood.
Even when she is covered in blood.
She did that one confessional where she was all like battered and bruised, and I was like, she's still so gorgeous.
Yeah. I love Olivia. But yeah, so
Olivia.
Love.
So
at the end of this first part here, this first part of the final, our standings, how they were left was Tori and Devin in first, Banani in second, and Anissa and Jordan are in third currently, with unfortunately Horacio and Olivia eliminated. And that's where we stand at this point. A lot of final left to go, though. Usually I like write a few things down for the next on, but it was all over the place. We see there's going to be a lot of craziness, a lot of yelling at each other. Looks like another food challenge is coming up. I did take one picture.
Was this the halfway mark, or was it?
I actually don't think they're halfway. I don't think they're at the halfway mark.
I didn't get that impression either.
They were like giving how much time it had been, but I couldn't remember where we were at this point. My brain turned to goo once I saw all that shit happen. I stopped paying attention to anything else.
Goo.
That's what happened to me too. Honestly, I had to rewatch tonight because I just kind of stopped taking notes after all the Olivia stuff. I was like, I can't even.
Really? You were gooing?
I All right,
I just felt
Kyle.
so bad. The way everything happened, it was just so like emotional.
Screaming at my TV. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't focus on anything after that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Yeah.
I did take one picture though of the next on of one thing that we can look forward to.
Yeah. Let's give it a ganter.
And that is Nani participating in the next food challenge, which apparently will feature a whole lot of spaghetti. So there's Nani.
Think is spaghetti.
It looked like spaghetti
made of. Who knows?
This honestly, yeah, you're right.
Cockroach smashing.
No.
So yeah, I knew it was going to get a little serious with all the Olivia and Horacio stuff and talking about Olivia's injuries. So I figured to try to lighten things up at the end of this. Yeah, let me show Nani stuffing her face with spaghetti.
Sure.
Yeah. Overall thoughts. We've been disappointed with some challenge finals recently. Taking away the injuries, all right. Just looking at the obstacles so far and the checkpoints they've had to do. Do you think this is an okay final so far? You like it?
I feel like there's two answers to this. As a viewer, I don't like it. I found this very boring. But I do think that they have been tested. Like the exercise bike thing is so damn lame to me. I would rather you even cut the kilometers in half and have them actually traveling a distance. Like I don't want to see you on a stationary bike. So I think that's boring. But I'm not saying that you haven't been physically tested, so it's like it's a weird thing. I don't really care to watch it.
I don't know, I don't know how far they had to drive, obviously, from the house to the start of the final, but why couldn't they have just biked to the campsite?
That even would have been fine.
I saw a lot of people complaining about that too, being like, so we have this 100-hour final, but the first couple of hours we're just driving to a place.
Driving to a place and then riding on exercise bikes. Like, how is that fun as a viewer?
We were 19 hours in, and all we had seen was a competition that didn't really matter all that much. It was just, you're done with your bike, set up your tent and go to bed.
Yeah, they drove, they slept, and they sat they did a workout at a as Kyle so aptly said, Planet Fitness.
Yeah. Yeah, so I respect it because you definitely you put in the work.
Oh, it's difficult for sure.
So I don't want to say that this is not a proper final, but as a viewer, it's also I've seen more exciting ones, but we don't know what's coming in finale part 2. So
exactly.
We'll see what happens. Maybe we're starting off slow. I mean, it's 100 hours and we're not even at 50. So
okay.
let's be optimistic. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, so that is part 1 of the final of the Challenge 38 Ride or Dies. We do have to get going because we're not done tonight, guys.
No,
it's also part 1 of our evening.
Yes, part 1 of our evening tonight in just less than 10 minutes. We'll see. I think we're all gonna have to get up and refresh our drinks and use the restroom, maybe, right? But for our friends who have been hanging with us while we talk about the Challenge 38, if you are watching, following along, if you like Survivor, but you haven't even seen the Australian one, but you're just interested to hear kind of what's going on in that season and learn a little bit, maybe, we're going to be talking episode 2 and 3 of Australian Survivor. That'll be coming up shortly. So tune into that. And
well, before that, I've been hey, like and subscribe, share with a friend.
Oh, of course.
Tell some people about us. Find us in the socials, Strat Chat Pod. And we're not done talking about the challenge. We're gonna be back next week. Tell them that.
That's right. Next week. Oh, I'm getting there. Next Thursday.
You get there.
Yeah, next Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be wrapping up the final part 2 of the final.
Finally, it's finally coming to a close. Challenge 38.
Yeah, and then again at 10:30 p.m. next Thursday, right? We'll be discussing next week of Australian Survivor.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to look forward to. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, for watching, for listening. Find us on the socials at StratChatPod. Hit up our website, stratchatpod.com. We'll see you real soon. Oh,
we'll see you really soon.